Welcome. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we are delighted that you have welcomed us into your home. We certainly would love to hear from you with a question or a comment. Just send it to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. Well, today our guest is beautiful Danielle Rose. She's the wife, mother, and a Catholic recording artist. You can go to her beautiful website, daniellerose.org. And we've had Danielle on our show before. And one year we had her on our show with her 3 little children.
Yes.
And they were on our show at Christmas time. They were Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. Yeah, so that was really fun. And they were all dressed up.
Yes.
It was so precious. And but now they're older.
Yes.
And
she has another child, Walter. And of course, she's here to discuss the children that are home with the Lord, Mary Seraphina and Frederick Albert.
Yes.
Seraphina. Yeah.
Yes. So if you watched yesterday on Monday's show, we talked about lifeperspectives.com, how Dr. Michaeline has a beautiful website and where she shares about the reality of 1 in every 4 pregnancies ends in miscarriages. And she said that this year, 1 million babies will be miscarried. 1 million babies will be aborted. And then women are struggling with fertility issues. So there's a lot of loss. Loss for a baby that maybe you're hoping that you've never been able to conceive. No. Loss for maybe you conceived and it was a spontaneous miscarriage, or the intentional loss of an abortion. So go to lifeperspectives.com. It's a beautiful website that can help you to heal.
Yeah, and go to daniellerose.org and get in touch with Beauty Unnoticed. And this is a whole nother genre of communication and a great source of healing through music, through song, through beauty, especially going into those that have suffered pregnancy loss of whatever kind, and to minister healing. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So plenty more to come. We'll be right back. Please don't go away.
Welcome back. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and today our guest is Danielle Rose. She is the wife, mother, and a Catholic recording artist. You could go to her beautiful website and listen to her beautiful music, daniellerose.org. Well, beautiful one, welcome to At Home. We're so delighted to have you.
Thank you.
And we know that you've been very busy. But we first want you to tell our family, because life has changed for you since the last time you were on At Home.
It has.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, your spiritual journey, and where you find yourself today.
Today is a beautiful anniversary of my grandparents that they died just a few months short of their 78th wedding anniversary. They're now both home with God.
Wow.
But I think of them today, Grandpa Pinky and Grandma Marie. I was raised in a wonderful home with a mom and dad that helped me know the love of God the Father and Blessed Mother. I started writing music when I was a teenager, and my parents allowed me to go to India and spend time with Mother Teresa's sisters. And that inspired me to offer the gift of music back to God as a means of alleviating spiritual poverty. So St. Teresa of Calcutta is my hero. I spent several years in discernment with a Franciscan convent in Texas, praying to know God's will for my vocation, and the Lord showed me that He was not calling me to make vows there. He wanted me to become a wife and a mother. And I was blessed to become a sacrament with my husband, Mitchell. 9 years ago, we've been blessed with 6 children, 4 on earth and 2 with God. And we're homeschooling the children and praying every day for wisdom and grace to give ourselves to God and to serve our family. So it's a blessing.
Well, when
you said
9 years, and it seems like when you said that, it seems like 18 or 20 something years of living, you know, and all that you've been through. It's like really
It's
amazing.
been a beautiful life.
Yeah,
I'm
and
very
you
thankful.
discern the vocation of marriage and the family, and now you're living it. The joys, the sorrows,
Yes.
the sorrows turn into joy.
Yes.
This is the living reality.
Yeah, and thanks to my grandma Marion, who loves EWTN, her prayers hold our whole family together. So I just want
Yeah.
to affirm to all the grandmas at home and grandparents that always are tuned in with EWTN that the power of their intercessory prayers, the fruitfulness of that is just pouring out to their whole family and to the whole world. And my grandma, any kind of beauty in my life and whatever kind of works to, you know, offer to the Lord, I know it comes so directly from her prayers.
And that, you know, that's such a powerful witness because so many people now are homebound
They are.
and they are grandparents and they think, oh, do my prayers matter? Well, then when a beautiful young woman comes and sits before us and said, I've married, I'm in the church, I've had children, and God has blessed me with a ministry, to know that all of her prayers were heard and you're a visible witness of her prayers.
I'm so thankful for her.
Thank God.
Daniel, tell us a little bit about the journey to Beauty Unnoticed, your new album, and just how we got to this place.
So the album Beauty Unnoticed is the first, my 6th album. It's the first one I've recorded in about 10 years. The last one was before I met my husband Mitchell and I was on the road full time as a music missionary. And now it's been God's will for me to be at home serving my family and being tucked hidden there, homeschooling and not being on the road. And so this album was born directly out of the process of working through the grief when we lost our daughter, Mary Serafina. She was stillborn from a cord accident. And when that happened, the waves of grief would come. It was so difficult. I didn't even know how to pray, that I would go down in the quiet after the children went to sleep at night, and I would go to my little office and I would just cry out to God. And so each of the songs on this album were written in the process of hitting those waves of grief. Yeah. And I would go and cry out to God, and then he would help these songs come out to help heal my heart as they were being written. And then when we started recording the songs, we recorded the whole album from the house during Joseph's nap hour. There were moms that would come over and help babysit while the girls upstairs while Joseph was napping. And in little tiny baby steps, we recorded this album. And actually, when the album was getting recorded, then I miscarried our son Frederick Albert about 6 months later. So the process, kind of the songs literally were the healing process for my heart, both in grieving her loss and then also with Frederick Albert, that it was God was helping heal my heart in the process of creating this album. So I don't know what I would have done without that process, because it was very difficult to walk through it. But God brought so much beauty forth from that process of losing these babies.
You say it's very important to bear witness to the lives of children who have gone home to God in miscarriage and stillbirth or any type of life tragedy. So it's important that they don't go unnoticed. There needs to be a testimony to them, a testament to them, that it was beautiful, and it is beautiful that they exist, that they are. And who will know them unless, you know, mom and dad and family members bear testimony and witness to them. It's kind of the spirit of what you're trying to do.
Yes. They are very much alive in God, and their stories need to be heard, because the life of the unborn child has been forgotten or neglected in our culture. And so when we speak of these children that have gone home to God, then it helps people to understand that truly is a child, and it's a child that's cherished by us and by God.
Yes. Well, your music is beautiful. It's so nice that it's a video as well as the music itself. The words are incredibly powerful. So I'd like us to go right now to Ode to You, one of the songs there on the album, so that you can see it and you can hear it and not only have us talking about it. Ode to You.
What color are your eyes? Are they the color of His grace? What's the sound of your voice? Is it the laughter of praise?
Well, what is that like when you hear that? I mean, we certainly watched it, listened to it. You gave us the CD early on. And when you do the music, as opposed to just the conversation, it just does a different thing inside your soul, doesn't it?
It does.
So tell us about that experience for you.
I really felt like Mary Seraphina, like the seraphim and cherubim angels are the ones at the throne of God, praising, worshiping God in song. And I really felt like she sent those songs from God's heart to heal my heart. They came out of me in a way that none of the other music I've ever written has come out. Like, it just would pour out, like in just this brief kind of period of time. And the evening after the kids went to bed, and these songs would just pour out in a way that it was so clear that it wasn't me that was doing it. When I hear it, when I hear the songs, it helps me to really concretely remember that their lives are so beautiful, and that even in their deaths, that there's been a greater beauty brought into my life, into our family's life, and into the world, because they are with him and they are praying for us and loving us.
Yes.
And they're very much a part of our family. We speak about them every day in our home. The children think of heaven every day because their brother and sister they know are with God. They've brought us all closer to Jesus.
How do you think, because the children were 6, 4, and 2,
Yes.
right? So how do they articulate it? I mean, they're pretty much going to follow your lead.
Yes.
How are they doing in the sharing of the loss of their brother and sister?
It was very important to me that I was open about it with them and talked with them constantly about it, because I didn't want to hide it from them, because they were my closest companions in the grieving process. And also because it would rob them of the opportunity to be able to realize that they had these members of their family that are their advocates and intercessors with God. And so we spoke about it very, very openly. We got them Lovey, of a little baby girl that was small, like the size of Mary Seraphina, and we gave one to each of them so they could play with the Lovey and talk with the Lovey to help them think about that there really was this little person that they didn't get to meet. Because when the baby was delivered in COVID, they weren't allowed to come to the hospital to see and hold her body. So that was important. Every night before we go to bed, we say, "Good night, Jesus. Good night, Mary Seraphina. Good night, Frederick Albert." And we speak about them by name every day, and when we pray. Whenever we're out and about and someone asks about the children in our family, they're the first ones. Agnes always tells people, we have 6 children. We have 4 on earth and 2 with God.
Yes.
And she introduces them to everyone we meet in Costco, in the grocery store line, at the airport, whatever it might be. They bear witness all the time, and a lot of times it catches people kind of off guard and by surprise, especially to hear it out of the mouth of a child. We always introduce not just the children physically with us on earth, but that we have 6 children in our family. That's very important to me, and I think that it teaches them all the time of, the presence of those children in our family very much alive. Mary Seraphina, she sends us feathers. They'll show up all in our house in different places, and we know she says hello. Frederick Albert helps us find tiny things when we lose them, because he was so tiny when he died. We always ask him when we lose something or there's something very tiny we can't find, we always ask for his help. He helps us find everything. Mary Seraphina has a gift with music where if there's a microwave ding that rings, or the garage door, or a tone of an airplane, or some little sound in the house, she'll match it to the pitch of the song that's playing on the radio. She says hi to me all the time that way. They are very much alive.
Well, I was speaking at OLS. It was at Christmas time, and I was with the children, and one of I guess it was Agnes,
Yes.
and she was there, and we were talking about, I had brought the little models of the babies,
Yes.
and we were having this conversation, and we talking about miscarriages and how that was, and I remember her coming up to me and telling me, and and I'm in it, I'm steeped in it, and it does catch you off guard to hear it from someone so little, as usually you're hearing from the mother, or the father, but to hear, and it was very comfortable and easy for her to say that, and her reality.
Yes.
It was just beautiful.
They have a very special capacity. I think all the children, because of the deaths, of their brother and sister, they can understand when we're praying for someone who is dying or a family that's lost a child, they really understand that that's where we're going, is we're all on a journey home to God.
Yeah.
And they understand the reality of death and also of the hope that comes with Jesus, that it's not the end of the story. They really understand that. That's been a great gift of the deaths of our children, that it brings us all, points us to heaven, and we realize that's where we want to be. We want to be there with them someday.
Well, it was interesting when she shared that. None of the other children had said anything. And then she had said that, and it was like a floodgate. Then it gave the other children permission to say, we had that too in our family, and that happened to us. And Miss Joy, that was the size of the baby. It was 9 weeks, 10 weeks, and you had the models, and they could see and hold. And then we gave them all the models. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, the frankness with which they spoke, not just your child, but these other children, how they dealt with this, what happened in their families. And I think too often we're so afraid for our children, we don't want to share about this, and we want to protect them, and they lose all of this.
They lose
It's a wrong kind of mystery.
Yes.
There is a mystery to this, and they can absorb much more, and they need to. And really, who are we protecting? Are we protecting them or us?
I think that they have a tremendous capacity to ponder these deep, deep mysteries. And in fact, that their wisdom to us in that, the healing that I received from my children actually processing it with me, that was significant. I would encourage anyone who has suffered the loss of a child, even if it's years ago, that they've never spoken about it with their children, there's never too late a time to share and to talk and to process together as a family. I think it's a great gift to the children and to the family.
Well, on our Monday show, Dr. Michaeline shared that she had a woman who had a pregnancy loss 60 years ago and never had permission to share it and to tell it, but had suffered in silence.
Yes.
And so for children, it's kind of like that mystery. It's like, something happened to mommy. I don't know what happened. She was very sad. And the baby went away, but we don't know about it, and we're never going to talk about it. Well, that just conjures up worse things, I think, for them.
It does.
And, as opposed to saying, this is what happened, and this is what's real in life, and God will get us through as a family as we go through this trial and this suffering.
Well, Danielle, we're going to hold you over for the final segment and share some more about beauty unnoticed. So we'll be right back. There's plenty more to come. Please don't go away.
Welcome back. We are at Home with Jim and Joy, and we are having a beautiful conversation with Danielle Rose about the loss of pregnancy and what she went through as a beautiful wife and mother. She has 4 children here on earth, but 2 that she lost, and she wrote music about it and the effect of the ministry that beautiful CD brings. So tell our family, what is your hope of Beauty Unnoticed?
My prayer for this album, Beauty Unnoticed, is that it can help be a tool of healing for those who have suffered the loss of a child. Many people have experienced this and have not spoken out loud to anyone else really about it. It's a hidden pain that they carry on a daily basis, for their life. Or maybe that they know someone directly who has lost a child, whether recently or years ago, and they don't know how to be able to reach out to that person. It can be difficult to even bring it up. And so my prayer is that this album can be a vessel of healing for someone, that when they're in the raw process of grieving, that this can be something that they can listen to give them permission and courage to be able to walk through that grief, because it's so painful that it can be like you just don't even want to go there.
Yeah.
But music it gives the ability for the heart to kind of be pierced open with the music, and then it gives God the opportunity to be able to really be deep in those places of pain in the person's heart, give them permission to be able to cry, to feel all the different emotions that are absolutely a part of the whole process of healing. You have to let that pain
Yeah.
be exposed, I think, for the healing to actually take place,
So-
for the surrender to happen.
With the songs, okay, so you're hearing the songs, but I've seen you performing in with the songs.
Yes.
So where is that? Is that just online?
It
images?
is.
Yeah. Because
So-
that's really powerful to see it and hear it.
So I also created an app called Beauty
Okay.
Unnoticed. So if someone knows, if there's someone in your family who uses a smartphone, they can go to the App Store and look up Beauty Unnoticed, and there's a whole app that's actually there for the process of ministering to someone who's lost a child. So the album is on there, all the videos of the lyric videos with the songs and the images, those are all on there. You can find them on the website or on YouTube as well. But the app is special because it's a place where there's not a distracted kind of environment. It's just a place like a little, I call it my little chapel with APP, like a little chapel
Yeah.
where you can go and listen to the music and be with God in that process of grieving.
Yeah. Well, we just got a little bit of time left, and maybe we can carry this over, but share with us kind of the uniqueness of each song. You don't go through all of them, but I mean, because the ode was just so grand and high and beautiful. And then the next one is, like Into the Chaos or Fly Away, So what are the dimensions, some of the dimensions to the songs? That
There are many steps of the grieving process. There's a whole spectrum of emotions and different types of surrender. There's beautiful moments, there's raw moments. So the music walks through that whole raw process of the grieving, kind of from start to finish, the process of that surrender. And it is a process. There's lots of waves that come. And so the music is not just talking about it. That was me actually going through that process as I wrote them. That was what my heart was going through. And so I'm praying that it can help other people as they're going through that process as well, and they don't know what to do or how to pray. I think that Mary Serafina gave me the ability to articulate it where I couldn't even to myself, but that God gifted that for my healing of my own motherly heart and to be able to share about it with my children and family.
And it's not just for a woman.
No, it's not.
Also for the man and his pregnancy loss that he suffered in the midst of that. He didn't have the physical, but he certainly had the emotional and now the care for his beautiful wife.
And the
that goes through
children who lost their baby that they were so excited, and the grandparents who were so excited to welcome the grandchild. It reaches out to the whole family, to the whole culture when there's a baby that dies. It ought to, and it does touch far beyond just the mother's heart.
Danielle, thank you for opening up the door to Beauty Unnoticed, and we look forward to continuing this important and healing conversation tomorrow. God could take every evil, seeming evil, and turn it to a good. He could take what seems to be a curse and turn it into a blessing. He can take even death and turn it into life. Keep it on EWTN. You're an important part of this family. You're never alone. You're always at home with Jim and with Joy. Bye now.